All right, everybody, we should be live on all the platforms. Happy Sunday, Happy New Year. We are back in the shop. Haven't been in the shop a whole lot. I know that seems like a resounding story from me, but what's going on here? I seem to have exploded the spool bus. Let's get into talking about what's going on here. I have nothing a whole lot, nothing really too new to share with you guys. After this, I know it's kind of last minute, late notice, so I don't expect everybody to drop what they're doing and join, but we're going to do the Patreon Discord hangout. So we got one new Patreon member for that, and hopefully he can make it. But yeah. What's going on here? Let me first jump on. I forgot to grab my second phone to check the streams, and want to make sure that I'm interacting with you guys a little bit here as we go. So let me grab those things. Get that sticker. Oh yeah, your sticker, Jay. I think you were talking about my sticker for a second there. I was like, I don't have my sticker over there. All right. Sorry, the way I have things all set up in the shop here tonight, it's kind of here, there, and everywhere. So my laptop is like really far away from where I'm doing the streaming from. And as such, coming over here to my laptop to see it and check on it means that I'm walking kind of far away from you guys, so from the front of the cameras. Am I live on Facebook? Yes, I am. Cool. All right. Yeah, leave comments on things if stuff's going awry, or if you just want to say hello. And that helps other people, you know, the algorithm stuff, for it to be pushed out to other people. Just want to hop on YouTube with my other phone here and make sure that I'm able to interact with you guys. Cool. Live chat. All right, Mark. That's fine. No big deal. Maybe I'll still be on live, or you can join us on Discord. So hopefully you can kind of see what's going on here. I can move my rig a little bit to get you guys closer. That should work out okay for me to do that. But yeah, I've got the whole front end of this thing torn apart, and that is a couple reasons for that. The first reason that I'm working on currently is I'm adding a cross-member stiffener up here. I'll get a better shot of this so you can see it. But in the process of doing that, I'm also doing a whole new radiator. I have a CSF radiator that is copper and brass, and it is going in here. I was going to put it in when I had this all out to do the timing belt on the engine, and I decided not to because of the way that I did the way that I modified things to be able to fit everything. I modified the bottom of the radiator that I had instead of modifying the mounts for it, which is fine if you're expecting to change it later or go back to how it was, but I'm not ever, so I need to modify how the radiator mounts. And that's what one of the things I'm working on here. So this is cross member here is from T&M Metal Fab, and my buddy Mark Malarkey Taylor, he found them and was able to order up one for his Betsy Ross Jeep project that he's working on, and he ordered one up for me as well. I ended up kind of in a predicament with this thing. I almost didn't use it because of my bumper, was the main reason. Use it because I'm just checking my audio there. So let me bring the cameras over here a little bit so you can see better what I'm talking about. If we position that like that, that's probably a much better view. If I don't pull it over. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see. So this is the whole stiffener going in here, and I was in the process of welding this. Ran inside, grabbed something to eat, came back out, and it was live stream time. So this is being welded on. There's a bunch of plug weld holes with it. I'm going to do stitches along all of the edges, top and bottom, as well as these oval holes. This one gets cut up for the way that I have my intercooler piping routing through here. So it kind of comes through this hole, but then this piece got removed. I kind of cut it and folded it back originally, and the tubes come up, and the intercooler, just sitting right here, so I might as well show you. Intercooler sits right there. So you can see the inlet outlet on that, kind of line right up with that area, and those tubes go down there. The one does a 180 and comes up to the intake manifold. The other just does a 90 and then a 45 and goes from the turbo. So that's got to be modified there. And then what I'm going to be doing is adding a piece of metal in front of this, and that's going to be where my radiator will sit then. So hopefully that works out well and I don't have to do a whole lot of modification to the radiator and how it sits. I'm probably going to push it back just a little bit deeper into the engine bay. So that's what was modified. I kind of skipped that part. For the TDI swap and that big thick intercooler that I just held up, it'd kind of be ideal if you could get a little bit thinner intercooler, but it doesn't make sense to go a whole lot thinner because unless you're using like oval pipe, the pipes and connections are kind of as thick as that intercooler anyway. So it fits all behind the radiator, or sorry, behind the grill. You've seen before. Here, I'll show you. This is not heavily modified. So this is the bottom of this. And I've just kind of whittled away at really just those two sections. One of them is where it would normally screw into the header. So the header's modified a little bit, but this, all the fins are retained and everything. There's no real heavy modification to that, making it look like it's chopped up or anything. So that's kind of nice. I want to keep that, and I have had a just a junk condenser in between the intercooler and the radiator, just to prove that it fit and wasn't gonna, you know, wear through anything. So those things are stacked just a little bit tighter than they were from the factory, or would be in a factory setup. I guess there was never a factory intercooler. Not out front like that on any Jeeps, but on the few diesel ones that were made, I think it mounts down in here. I think that's why these ovals are there, if I remember right. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of what's going on with all of that. The cross member piece, the radiator. So it's just a 2-core. I didn't go with the 3-core. I actually had a 3-core. Sold it to a friend because I was just like, man, this thing struggles to get to operating temperature most of the time. Like, why am I trying to overcool this thing even more with a 3-core? So I skipped that, and we're just doing the 2-core. So I think I had that tilted way more than I wanted to be. So let me see, do I have Facebook on here? Let's check in there and say hello. I don't have Facebook on here. What a loser. I don't have Instagram on this phone either. All right, back to YouTube, I guess. I'll jump on the laptop for a second here. I'm not gonna do any work while on camera tonight just because what I'm working on is welding, and there's lots of smoke and nastiness with me. I'm using weldable primer, so I don't particularly want to be jumping back and forth from doing welding and doing live stream stuff. So let me check the things here. Someday I will have a better setup for all this, guys. I'm making do with what I got right now. And Facebook. I feel like people comment on Facebook and I never see it. I don't see any comments on Facebook at the moment, so hopefully I'm not missing anybody there. Checking on Instagram here too. Looks like I'm going in deep on the Spoolbus. It does look like I'm going deep on a project here, but this is going to be, I'm going on a trip, nothing major, but going on a little fun getaway next weekend, this coming weekend, and this needs to be done for that. And I'm really glad that I jumped into this. You know how it's kind of always in the back of your mind, like this wasn't really a necessary thing to do before this trip or anything. But the other thing that I'm working on, I've never had good heat in this since I did this swap. And I think I figured out why. I'll do another update on that or something. I don't want to get into all that tonight because I'm not entirely sure that what I've done is going to fix anything. I can't test anything right now with it all torn apart, of course. But I'm really glad that I got into doing this tonight or before this trip, because my tensioner, and you can't see this, I'm sure, and I'm not going to bring the cameras all the way over here to show you, but my tensioner, belt tensioner, which I made for the TDI swap, because normally the tensioner was, let me think, trying to remember where it even was. Kind of above the alternator, I think. And then the air conditioning compressor was down below that. So I made a tensioner to tension the belt between the harmonic balancer and the alternator, and it's cracked. So one of the welds on it, it's not like completely broken, it's holding together, but like I can move it with my fingers, and it's definitely like not holding, the pulley's not straight on the belt anymore, so the belt has kind of been rubbing a little bit. And so I noticed that the edge of my belt had a bunch of like cracks in it that didn't seem so great. And the tensioner, the last time I had it out wheeling, the power steering was squeaking like way more than it ever has. And I just realized, or just thought, maybe I just need to tension the belt. How I didn't notice that when I went to tension the belt, I don't know, or maybe it wasn't this obvious at that point. But man, you look right at that thing and it's like, oh, that's not supposed to be like that. So easy fix. It's 2 bolts to loosen the tensioner, 2 bolts to remove it from the engine, and then I can weld it. And I will, I'm going to change the position, like where it positions the pulley just slightly, and I'm going to obviously now reinforce that significantly. But it's based off of a Subaru tensioner. I pulled it off of a Subaru at the junkyard. Yeah, so that's kind of the life update, the Spoolbus update. And yes, believe it or not, this is all going back together by Friday because it has to. So I need to keep cranking on this tonight but it should be done. No big deal. While I'm on the live, I might as well do a tiny bit of work. I want to take the radiator out and see how this is going to fit. So we might as well do that while I'm on the live. Take a look at this. I haven't even had this out of the box yet. Sorry for the